Welcome to part 2 of an experiment to determine specifically where compact flash and SD cards might be useful in the original Xbox as a hard drive replacement. In this video, we'll set up a static FTP connection and transfer legally ripped copies of Halo 1 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 to each card and use them as benchmarks for in-game load times and performance. We'll be using a number of CF and microSD cards of different generations, different kinds of SD-to-CF adapters, and different types of IDE cables with the 1.0 Xbox that we T-sub flashed in part 1. These performance tests were extensive, and the results reveal exactly which solutions work for both, and which setups cause more problems than solutions. At the end of part 1, I used Hexen to set up a hard drive on a 32 gig microSDHC card, and I did it using the stock 40-pin 40-wire IDE cable. It was successful, but there was a high degree of latency that led to failed transfers and corrupted or partial copies of files during setup. I had to run the setup twice to set up the disk, and even then it did not install everything it was supposed to. While every compact flash card tested worked flawlessly with this setup and the stock IDE cable, SD cards remained slow and troublesome no matter how many different cards or adapters were tried. In summary, real CF cards, at least UDMA4 or higher, work very well at the stock IDE cable, and microSD cards rival those speeds if given a 40-pin 80-wire cable. If you'd like to see where these tests went smoothly, I recommend skipping ahead to one of the timestamps in the description. Otherwise, if you'd like to see how and where it went wrong, and what in-game performance glitches and freezes you can expect to run into if you try to use a 40-pin 40-wire cable with SD cards anyway, keep watching. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a pretty pieced-together setup in here. Got a CRT monitor from 1992, I think. And this nice tiny TV here to do testing. Got this. I have another computer under this desk here. That runs into that microscope over there. It's quite the patchwork. It doesn't fit so well. There we go. Let's try this again. Turn the Xbox back on. Boot. Okay. So we got some kind of technical difficulties here. There's a couple different ways to try this. Since I didn't touch the CF card adapter, it's in the same exact spot it was before. And it has booted up for me in the past. Plug this back in. Turn it on. Just see what happens. Immediately. Isn't that bizarre? Just unplugging it and plugging it back in. And that's quite literally all it took. I have this Xbox hooked up to this all-in-one here with a crossover cable. And going a little more old school with it. You can FTP with DHCP and just have it, go across the router. But I've noticed using static over the years, it's a lot faster and it's more reliable. And if you can wing it, then usually it's worth it too. Especially if you're trying to upgrade an Xbox to have a giant hard drive in it. Once you're talking about transferring hundreds of gigs over a terabyte of content, doing it at 10 megs a second, it can get kind of slow. And doing it over static will give you basically the max throughput because it's so direct. Right now I have the crossover cable plugged into the all-in-one. It's back here. That beige cable wraps around this TV, plugs into the Xbox. Let's see. Our IP and our gateway are the same. Let's change this IP address. Maybe, how about 57? That's a good enough number for me. Let's see what we get now. There we go. And there are the contents of our SD card. Ironically, I guess we could just take it out, and this computer here actually has an SD card slot in it, but I want to use DVD to Xbox over here, and I want to, this didn't install all the way. In fact, I'm going to delete the one that's on here. Let's see how long it takes. Here's our hard drive activity light. Still one file that could not be transferred. And it's the XPE. Alright, we're back. Still got this 32 gig SD card, this microSD card, in an SD card adapter, in a CF card adapter, in an IDE adapter. And the Xbox is still going pretty strong. I have Filezilla open here. And right now, I am trying to copy over the default XPE. Yeah, this is not working well. I have another full-sized SD card adapter here. So, just take everything out again. Make sure it's in good. Pop it in. There we go. Let's see what this one does. Post. Alright. So now I have another IDE card adapter in here. We still have Filezilla open. Okay, that copied almost perfectly what's in the failed transfer. Okay, that was going to E anyway, so that was part of the original. Part of an earlier transfer attempt. So that was almost instant. All I did was change out this adapter. Now we got unleashX per skater 4. I'm gonna go to the File Explorer. And I'm gonna go to F apps. Go right in here. That was very quick. So let's try to copy this. Not doing anything over the network this time. Recognizes it as about 1.5 gig. We have plenty of space there. All I'm going to do is make a new directory. Just call it games. There we go. Now let's see what happens. That's a good path. So, press start. That's it. This is definitely a problem here. We were getting some pretty fast data transfer speeds, and almost immediately it dropped down, but it is going. It's very slow. So this is just a plain Jane 1-slot microSD to compact flash adapter. So that's in there. These draw a little less power than the thicker Type 2 variants. So let's pop this in. But I'll just do the same thing. I'll do the exact same thing that I did with the other ones. Okay. Well, we're back again. Honestly, I think what I'm going to do to just save a little time here is I'm going to use FTP. I already ripped unleashX per skater 4, and I had it on an SD card, or on a compact flash. So I don't necessarily have to rip it again and, have it be spinning the disk for like 10 hours trying to rip it. No one needs that. No one needs that. Everything's pretty much ready to go again. Here's solution 2. Using a Type 1. Same microSD card. As opposed to a full SD with a microSD adapter in it. Let's upload this and see how it goes. Well, looks like changing out the adapter again made all the difference. This was giving me so much trouble before, And now it's running great. I'm getting a healthy LED activity light. This is running very consistently. Wow, we're getting, 11 megabytes per second. Yeah, using a Type 1 adapter made a lot of difference almost immediately. You saw before I was trying to transfer 4 megabyte file, and it took, man, probably at least like 6 or 7 times to, unplug everything, plug it back in, reseat everything, and then it would just keep failing. If you're curious to try this at home, I'd really recommend getting one of these compact flash to IDE adapters with LED lights on it to denote activity, because that green activity light in particular seems to be just great for doing diagnostics. Now this is comparable to this compact flash card here. Beautiful. It's that time again. And by that time again, I mean it's time to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on a TV with awful input delay. Let's reload the dashboard. That's a great sign. We have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. In 5 or 6 seconds. And I think we locked the Xbox up. Yeah, so far using the Type 1 has made this much less of a hassle. Yep. That froze the Xbox again. Now let's see if it makes a difference if we unplug it, because that was making some kind of weird difference before. Startup is really, really fast. Okay. Alright. So I couldn't get in game with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. I'm gonna send Halo over. It was a little bit bigger. It still has 3 gig to go. And This isn't over USB 3, so still might take a minute. Alright, round 2. This is an SDHC card. Now I have Halo and unleashX Persecutor 4. Let's see what happens. Just try to run Halo. It's a launch game. That's not how that sounds. Alright, that's not looking good. Let's take this to its logical conclusion and try it out with the UHS-1 microSD card. Well, I can certainly say doing setup with this Samsung Evo here has been a lot faster. The Xbox is showing transfer speeds in kilobytes per second, but that number is significantly higher than it was when I was using that purple. XP Partitioner did a pretty good job again. All these look right. Got about 51 gig here, 0 free space. There we go. Alright. Now let's see if we have any weird posting issues. Post. Good. So this installed... You know what? This is what it was supposed to look like on the other SD card. And it looks like somehow the install got corrupted, because it did have trouble transferring a few things over. Beautiful. We have DVD to Xbox. I'll show you how I do my setup. I go into the 50s. I'll just pick a random number for the last, so 192.168.50.75. Leave the subnet mask alone. My gateway is 50.1. So on the PC end of things, I have, this is actually on Wi-Fi, and I just have the crossover cable running into the Ethernet port, so it's kind of convenient, you know, that way you don't have to cut off the internet entirely. So that's the computer's IP address that I assigned to it. They both share a gateway. I'm not changing anything with that. And that is what it looks like here. Here's my crossover. And now, there we go. And let's go to F, create a directory, call it games. And let's find Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. I'm kind of getting tired of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. It's been like my testing game for the past week or two. And it might sound sick to say, but I'm actually starting to get that Sneak King itch, you know? Gotta get Sneak King, you know? That's what it's all about. Okay, it's the moment of truth. SDHC was not up to spec. Will SDHC UHS1 and Knuckles do the trick? Yeah, this froze. Alright, back with one more test. The same legal copies of games transferred to a slightly faster SD card. Fast.
think we both know the answer to that.
Getting closer. So out of every card I've tested so far, microSD is of different types, compact flash. These UDMA7 compact flash cards have worked flawlessly. UDMA7 is, I think it's 120. Maybe, it's definitely over 100 megabytes per second, and it's quick, which I believe the Xbox is ATA66, and the DVD drive is 4X. So this can handle the throughput very well.
Ready for the ghetto blaster? That's what I thought. Alright. Okay. I gotta go skate. I gotta go skate. Hey, if you want to open up some new places to skate, try talking to some of the guys with the arrows over their heads. Are you serious? Hey, what's up, man? I got lucky with this score. Let's see what you can do. Dude, that was so good. Seriously, seriously, so good.
Here's a UDMA 6 SanDisk Extreme Pro. Tops out at 90 megabytes per second. This would be faster than an Xbox hard drive. So it should, I think this will work great. I think this will play Tony Hawk 4 and Halo with no issues. So let's get it set up. Let's make sure everything's hooked up right. Make sure our card is working. Hexen's in the DVD drive. Everything looks good. 0 free space. So let's start, format that. If we're in luck, we'll see the UnleashX screen. And then it should boot back into Hexen. And but it should have all the Xbox sound effects in the background. Okay, so it restarted. Now we have all the sound effects. Looks like the CF card's gonna work fine. Well, let's turn it back on. 11.6 megs. I think that's the fastest I've seen it so far. Yeah, if there's one thing I can really vouch for, it's these. These compact flash to IDE adapters run great. They have read every single thing I've tried with them. And for compact flash directly, they run really, really well. And like I said earlier, the green activity light seems to be a good way to diagnose whether or not you're going to get something that works. And just having that light flashing can make a huge difference for getting a successful setup if you're experimenting with CF and SD cards. Because before I picked up on that green LED, I thought half these cards were broken. And here it was just something else. And getting this readout from that made a huge difference. So, looks like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 has finished transferring over. So I'm just going to reset the dash here. Can UDMA 6 do the trick and replace a hard drive? Yes, you can. See how fast that was? Because I got to turn the music down or like getting copy stricken or something. Playing Tony Hawk on this kind of TV is a nightmare, but I'll try. Never even really played Tony Hawk 4 that much. I got a copy for doing the exploit. I played a ton of 3, 2, 3, Underground 2, but 4 is just kind of this hazy memory. One of my friends had it on PS1, and that's the only version I played for many years. Neat idea. The open world thing was it's kind of neat. It's like proto Underground, I guess. Yeah. This is not working out. Well, it works. It works great. Let's exit back out. Okay, good. I did that and did a revert that triggered the vibration to start the controller, but it stopped. I'm pretty sure Halo 1's gonna work fine. So that's been making it a lot further into the game than anything else. Yeah, anything down to UDMA 4, Ultra ATA 66 should work okay. That would appropriately substitute an Xbox hard drive. There's a chance that switching out the IDE cable to an 80 pin could still make a difference. But half the challenge has been trying to find something that works with the 40 pin. And just being able to use the stock cable, I think I've already said this, it's a lot more convenient. You don't have to buy all this extra stuff and form any cables, and I didn't even have to take this Xbox apart. All I had to do was just unplug the hard drive and pop that in. Some people would say that using an 80 pin, you might be able to get a little better throughput, especially with some of the higher UDMAs, like, especially 6 or 7. That is a good idea. I'm going to try it after I'm done with this. UDMA 4 is ATA 66. ATA 66 is what the Xbox hard drive was from factory. UDMA 4 might need an 80 pin cable to rival the throughput of an ATA 66 hard drive. There's a chance. Because compact flash does have this degree of latency to it too. And if the 80 pin reduces that, then it would be a benefit. But it seems that anything from UDMA 5, which is 100 megs, up to 7, which is 167, that should do the trick fine with the original cable. But for the sake of the SD cards, our SDHC and our SDXC, UHS1, and Knuckles, we'll try it out. So we know these work. These work fine. I can turn the Xbox off, I can pop that in, and I'll have a hard drive with the same games and basically the same tools and everything. There we go. Halo 1 finished. I am 100% certain this is going to work because Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 didn't work on anything else. And it's immediate. Let's see if the cutscene has problems again. Then maybe it might just be the rip of this game. Looks like Toonami.
I think we're both coming in as bad.
We made a blind jump. How did they?
Get here first? The Covenant ships have always been faster. As for tracking us all the way from Reach, at light speed, my maneuvering options were limited.
Perfect.
Running dark. Yes.
Until we decelerated, no one could
Well,
the holy door
we
itself.
made it past the bottleneck from the adapters.
They were waiting for us on the far side of the planet.
Now with all the SD cards, whenever I press start, this would freeze. This is gonna work. Well, I mean A. Right into game.
Sorry for the quick thaw, Master Chief. Things are a little hectic right now. The disorientation should pass quickly. Welcome back, Servant. We'll have the battle ready status. Chief, please look around the room. I need to get a calibration reading for your battlesuit's diagnostics. Good. Thank you, sir. I'll bring you to help all of our lives, Servant. Vital signs look normal. No freezer burn. Okay, sir. Go ahead and climb out of the cryotube.
There he is. Lads, that's Master Chief from the Halo series.
I gave you a double dose of the wake-up stick. Take a quick walk around the cryo bay and join me at the optical diagnostic station when you're ready. I know the ordnance techs usually take care of your targeting sensors, but we're short of time, Chief.
We are short of time. So, let's exit out of here. And we'll call UDMA 6 CF cards a success. So we've tested UDMA 7 and UDMA 6. And both of them work great with the stock IDE cable. You don't need to use an 80 pin. We have tested a Western Digital Purple microSDHC card, and the throughput was just not enough to play regular Xbox games. And then we tried a 64 gig Samsung Evo that's a little bit faster, and it's a UHS 1 micro SD card that should be able to go up to about 100 megs a second. And that would put it on par with ATA 5. ATA 5 should work okay. However, the SD cards are a lot of trouble with the stock IDE cable. So, why don't we get an 80 pin, test that out. Alright, so I got that hooked up. So now we have an 80 pin that's verified to be working. And we have a compact flash card that was verified working with the stock IDE cable. It was having trouble working with the other 80 pins, but so did the hard drive. Let's see what happens. Turn the light off. Excellent. All right, so that's working. Now we have everything in this line good to the point that we can confidently test out these adapters. We can see if using an 80 pin actually offers any kind of extra advantage for this. So here's our 64 gig microSDHC UHS1 and knuckles. This did not load Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 before. It always got stuck at the loading screen. The cutscenes work fine. Activision 02. Yep. Hey. Well, I'll be. Okay. Gotta turn down the sound again. Worst kind of game to play on this kind of TV. But it's all good. Because Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 is running great off of a Samsung Evo SD card. Instant load times. I guess adding the adapter into the equation, just like with a IDE to SATA adapter. It just adds an extra dimension of I/O that the original cable just can't handle. It kind of makes sense. Compact flash is just an extension of, you know, the parallel ATA interface, the same one Xbox uses natively. So higher speed compact flash cards work great, and this kind of solution here, no, it works pretty good. You just need to get an 80 pin cable. Alright, so let's try Halo 1. Start a new game. We'll see if the cutscenes have trouble.
think we've broken the nuances bad.
We made a blind jump. How did they?
Get here first? The Covenant ships have always been faster. As for tracking us all the way from Reach, at light speed my maneuvering options were limited.
We were running dark. Yes.
Until we decelerated, no one could have missed the whole
Okay.
between subspace.
So there's no audio skipping. The 80-pin cable made the difference. The adapter works fine.
Waiting for us on the far side of the planet.
So,
That guy going
Our
was like a benchmark. Right in game, very quick.
Sorry for the quick thaw, Master Chief. Things are a little hectic right now. But this orientation should pass quickly. Welcome back, Silver. We'll have battle ready status. Chief, please look around the room. I need to get a calibration reading for your battlesuit's diagnostics. Good. Thank you, sir. I'm bringing your health monitors online, Silver. Vital signs look normal. No freezer burn. Okay, sir. Go ahead and climb out of the cryotube.
Oh, no way. Oh, guys, it's Master Chief from the Halo series.
I gave you a double dose of the wake-up snip. Take a quick walk around the cryo bay and join me at the optical diagnostic station when you're ready. I know the ordnance techs usually take care of your targeting sensors, but we're short of time, Chief.
Yes.
Look at each of the flashing panels to target them.
Short of time is the word. Now, I'm going to call that success. It would be interesting to try this with higher capacity microSD cards. I'm pretty sure Samsung Evo microSD will not have any trouble with trim and all that. I mean, they go into smartphones, and a lot of the times they're used as secondary storage, and so they handle a lot of I/O. And I don't think the Xbox OS and games and the occasional save file being added to the card is going to corrupt it too quick. So I think microSD could be a nice cheap alternative, but you know, it's kind of relative, right? Relative to what you have, relative to what you want to experiment with. I guess it's like a quasi SSD. You get that kind of like flash memory speed. But you still have to buy an adapter and an 80-pin cable, and at that rate, might just be cheaper to buy an SSD. Definitely cheaper to just buy a big hard drive. So let's try our 32 gig Western Digital Purple. It should, unless the adapter is bottlenecking it. Which, I mean, the adapter does not seem to be the bottleneck. We'll try the SDHC with the, relatively low transfer speed. We're in. I don't know if this install actually succeeded all the way, because I think Hexen, while I was setting this one up, I was still using the full SD card adapter, and I had that in an adapter, and something about that just seemed to be a mess. So let's, again, try Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Will we get stuck at the title screen? Immediate. Go into free skate. Choose Tony Hawk. you. Alright, I think that's enough Bob Burnquist's Pro Skater, Matt Hoffman's Pro, Kelly Slater, Surfer, Disney Extreme Skate Adventure 4. Oh yeah, we gotta try Halo 1. Success. Success. Alright. Now, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 worked immediately, didn't get stuck on the loading screen, didn't have any weird temperaments to it. I think Halo is going to work fine. So let's watch the opening cutscene again.
I think we both know the answer to that.
We made a blind jump. How did they?
Get here first? The Covenant ships have always been faster. As for tracking us all the way from Reach, at light speed, my maneuvering options were limited.
We were running dark, yes?
Until we decelerated, no one could have missed the hole we tore in subspace. They were waiting for us on the far side of the planet.
Right in game. Look around, Chief.
Sorry for the quick thaw, Master Chief. Things are a little hectic right now. But this orientation should pass quickly. Welcome back, Surfer. We'll have battle ready inbound. Chief, please look around the room. I need to get a calibration reading for your battlesuit's diagnostics. Good. Thank you, sir. I'll bring you the health monitor online, Surfer. Vital signs look normal. No freezer burn. Okay, sir. Go ahead and climb out of the cryo tube.
Hey. Yo. That's Master Chief from the Halo series.
I gave you a double dose of the wake-up stick. Take a quick walk around the cryo bay and join me at the optical diagnostic station when you're ready.
Alright, so I don't think I'm gonna do the look around thing.
Stand on the red square, please.
I know, screw it.
I know the ordnance techs usually take care of your targeting sensors, but we're short of time, Chief. Just look at each of the flashing panels and target them. When you lock on, it'll change color. Okay, that looks good. Sir, I'm getting some calibration errors. I'm going to invert your booking ticket so you can see if you like it better that way. Try targeting the flashing lights again. Is that better or should I switch to that one? Okay. Try looking up and down again, please. You want me to leave it like that or switch again? Okay, I'll leave it with you normal. If you want, you can change it yourself later.
I wonder if that was the test that changed inverted FPS controls for good. Because it seems like everything that came out before Halo 1 had it the opposite with
Please follow me
Southpaw.
to the energy shield test station.
Good to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going well. Cortana did her best, but we never really had a chance.
A dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single less than class crew. Those odds I contend with 3. Make that 4, can't it? Sleep well?
No,
go down with the ship?
In a manner of speaking. The object we found, I'm going to try and land the autumn on it.
Now would be a very good time to leave.
We're gonna make it, aren't we, sir? I don't want to die out here.
Look,
What is that thing, Lieutenant?
I knew it. The autumn's accelerating. Keys is going in manually. Sure you wouldn't rather take a seat?
We'll be fine.
I still have fingers that be crossed. Chief? Chief, can you hear me? Last, are you alright? Can you move? The others. Nothing we can do. Warning. I've detected multiple Covenant dropships on approach. I recommend moving into those hills. If we're lucky, the Covenant will believe that everyone aboard this lifeboat died in a crash.
Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to cap it. So a regular SDHC card works fine. SDXC cards like the Samsung Evo, they also work fine. They just need an 80-pin adapter. I'm sorry, they need an 80-pin cable. The moral of the story is that as long as you get an 80-pin IDE cable, you can use microSD just fine.